Crawford's extremely talented fighter, special fighter. I've been pushing him on this channel for 3, 4 years. However, something is missing right now. And what is missing is when you have a chance to put it in fifth gear, when you have a chance to stop guys, when the opportunity is there, you got to take it, you got to jump on it. The Floyd Mayweather blueprint is not going to work for anybody else. It's one of one. Floyd came around at the right time. He fought the right guy at the right time, Oscar De La Hoya in 2007, capitalized on that, beat him, polarized the market, and became what he became, but he was a boring fighter. He was an extremely talented but boring fighter fighting inferior opposition, high risk or low risk, high reward, and it worked for him. But it worked for him. It didn't work for anybody else, and it's not going to work for anybody else. He came along, he was the right guy at the right time, but that's it. And for these fighters who think they're going to coast to 12-round decisions and become pay-per-view stars, it's not going to happen. And somebody needs to be telling these guys that. And look, if you don't want to take the risk when you have a guy hurt in a fight, and you're easily beating the guy and you're boxing his ears off, but the opportunity presents itself to step it in fifth gear, step on it, put it in fifth gear, and stop guys or hurt guys, and you don't do it, at this point in time in 2016, the market is going to see that, and they're going to say, wait, do I really want to spend time and money on this guy in the future? Terence Crawford needs to realize that, hey, what he did, he boxed circles around Postol. There's no doubt about it. He looked great. He looked great, but he didn't look special. For people tuning in, they didn't say, hey, I want to see this guy fight again, in my opinion. Or maybe hardcore boxing people said, I respect his technical style, but I think the casuals are going to see this and say, hey, there's something missing with that guy. And what's missing with that guy is a killer instinct. What's missing with that guy is, hey, if I have a guy hurt in the 9th, 10th round and he's ready to go, you got to get rid of him. That's what people want to see. People don't want to see at this point in time, especially after Mayweather versus Pacquiao, they're boycotting boxing pay-per-views. They're openly boycotting it, and you see it with the numbers. They need something special at this point. The Floyd Mayweather blueprint is one of one. It's not going to work for anybody else. It's not going to work for Terence Crawford. It's not going to work for Andre Ward. It's not going to work for anybody. You're not going to be able to go low risk, high reward, sell 1 million pay-per-view buys, and coast to unanimous decision victories against inferior opposition. It's not going to happen anymore. The market, it's already been exposed. They're not going to be fooled again. With Floyd, extremely talented, once-in-a-lifetime fighter, but low risk, high reward. He came along at the right time. He beat Oscar De La Hoya in 2007. He rode Oscar's coattails, beat him, polarized the market. Beautiful marketing plot by Floyd, and he took advantage of it. And all power to him for doing it on the business side of it. But on the sports side of it, it was boring to watch, and another boring fighter is not going to work. As far as pay-per-view buys, it's not going to work. So what people need to be telling Terence Crawford is, hey, if you have a guy hurt, if you're not going to guide down multiple times, you see you're clearly outboxing him, instead of playing it safe, why not go for the kill? This is a blood sport. People tune in to be entertained. Yeah, it is a sport. It's fine to be undefeated and keep that O and whatnot and play it safe. That's fine. But if you want that glory, you want those pay-per-view buys, you want to be the next star in boxing, you're not going to get it that way. And yes, he's angled himself into a possible fight with Pacquiao in November. That being said, even beating Pacquiao at this point would not be Mayweather or Pacquiao beating De La Hoya at that point in De La Hoya's career. I think people realize that Pacquiao is on the tail end, and De La Hoya was at that time as well. But look at what Pacquiao did to De La Hoya in that fight. I mean, Pacquiao completely destroyed him. Does anybody think that if Crawford had Pacquiao hurt in their fight, that he would step on the gas in fifth gear and just completely annihilate him? And that's what I'm saying. To be that next pay-per-view star in 2016, I think people are looking for knockouts now. I think people are looking for activity and knockouts. They don't want to see a guy fight once a year and decision a guy who he could have stopped in the mid-rounds. So Crawford needs to get that through his skull. His team needs to tell him that and say, hey, stop switching from southpaw to conventional to be cute and outbox a guy that you could knock out. So that's my critique. Yes, Crawford did a great job. He looked great. He did what he was supposed to do. He's a special talent. And I've been pushing him on this channel for 3-4 years. When everybody was saying, oh, Adrian Broner, I was saying, no, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's the guy. Terence Crawford's the guy. He's the guy you need to be watching out for. That being said, there comes a point in your career where you have to step it up. And he stepped it up in talent with the Postal fight. But you got to do something special. You got to do something special. You got to start flattening guys. So Crawford, stepping in fifth gear when you have it, man. Don't bore people. Knock guys out. Blood.